Hey, what's up guys? Drew here over at Rev Hiker Outdoors, and I'm here with another Knife Thursday video. This time, we're going to be checking out and reviewing and testing the Benchmade Bailout. We're going to put it through a bunch of stuff and see if what they say about it being too soft of a steel is true. So stick around. Alright guys, so here's the format of the video. First off, let me just say, if you guys have been watching my channel, you know I loved the Bug Out. I think it was a great knife. And the Bailout is another great knife, in my opinion. I wanted this one because of the 3V steel. I have the Benchmade Puko, and I love the 3V steel there. Now, there has been some controversy about people having this hardness checked and having it come out around 56 instead of up near 60 on the Rockwell hardness scale and all that stuff. So people complain, there was two people in particular that, made a big deal about it. I'm not discrediting what they did or calling them liars or calling them out at all, but I like to do my own testing. So I wanted to see if the different Rockwell hardness on this really made a difference to the end user or not. So today, I'm going to be kind of going back to my old gauntlet stuff. We're going to first test the sharpness by slicing through some very thin paper. And after each test, we'll cut that paper to make sure that this thing is holding that edge. Now, you will notice this is not a tanto anymore. And the correct pronunciation is tanto, not tanto. If you say tanto, I'm sorry, there's help for you. But anyway, I have modified this to have a belly because I do not like tantos at all. They're not very useful to me. Did not lose any length. I just took off where that angle was. And I made sure the blade was nice and cool the whole time so it didn't get overheated. I didn't lose the temper on it. So anyway, I might do another video about that mod, but let's get straight into the testing. I'm going to try to do the testing without any cuts to the video, because I know someone will say invariably, oh, well, you stropped in between, or you did this, or you touched it up just because I'm getting paid by Benchmade. No, they don't pay me. They don't even know who I am. So this is just my stuff. I can tell you so far from using it that it feels pretty similar to S30V as far as the edge retention goes, stuff like that, which 3V should outperform that. So maybe the softness has kind of degraded it to an S30V feel, but let's go through this stuff. We'll go through, and this is stuff where you might see chips and rolls and things like that in steel. So that's going to kind of be the test that we're going to do today. Okay, so while you guys are watching this cut test, I'm going to go through and talk about the cut test and talk about the knife a little bit. You can see in the initial sisal rope cutting that there were times where I was kind of missing. As far as what I mean by missing is I wasn't cutting complete, like the entire thing. There were still some strands holding on. And I did have to put quite a bit of pressure to go through. This rope is this is some pretty old, hard junk. And it's, this stuff is hard to cut through. There's a good reason that these cuts, people do cut tests with this rope. It's very abrasive. It's very rough on an edge. But anyway, I'm still counting those as full cuts. Again, I kind of lost count. So I did roughly 20 the first time. But anyway, it took a lot of pressure, and with a knife this thin and kind of with these scales when I was pushing through, I had to push real hard. And it definitely kind of dug into my finger a little bit, kind of on my index finger where I was pushing real hard, the one right up near the blade there. Wasn't uncomfortable too bad, but when you're pushing that hard on that many cuts, it did kind of wear into my finger a little bit. It didn't make it bleed, didn't give me a blister or anything like that, but maybe something I would consider a hot spot. The rest of the cuts were really easy. It went through, the zip ties were nothing, the cardboard, obviously the shape and the thickness of this blade, just being a thin, very high ground blade. It's a great slicer. So, as far as that goes, it was great. As far as carrying this knife, um, I really like it a lot. It's great in the pocket if you enjoy the bug out, if you have delicas, if you have enduras, if that's your type of thing like that, you like that slender knife. This kind of reminds me of that. It's nice and thin in your pocket, doesn't take up a whole lot of space. The short pocket clip that they give on this and the bug out work great. The little, I'll call it, I mean, it's like a lanyard hole, but also almost like a little, I don't know, little pommel on the back. I've already hit a few things with it. I use my knives as tools, and to me, that's like a good little improvised hammer on little things. I'm not talking like a real hammer. I'm not going to frame a house with this thing, but for little things that need to maybe get knocked into place. It's also the one side of it was sharp enough to where I actually threw sparks off of the lanyard loop in the back there off of a ferro rod. So for that kind of stuff, it could work. The coating on the blade seems very durable. I was actually surprised how well it stayed on. The rope didn't make any difference, and all the cutting that I've been doing with this knife in the few weeks that I've had it has not it hasn't messed this up. And so I'm so far I'm really happy with the thing. Do I think this 3V holds an edge as well as my Puko in 3V? I'm gonna say probably not. I think Benchmade did have a bit of a heat treat. I don't know if it was a mistake. I don't know if it was intentionally left soft to keep the toughness really high. But I mean, one of the things of 3V is that you can make it a very high hardness and it still retains a load of toughness. So I'm not sure what the deal was. Maybe it was just a mistake. Maybe it was intentional. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. This blade performs pretty much the same as S30V. It holds a working edge for an awful long time. Even after all this, I did try shaving with it, and with a little pressure, I could shave the hair of my hand. There were a couple little hang-ups on the paper, and you'll see that at the end. I basically cut 30 feet of cardboard with it. I made over 30 cuts in about a foot wide piece of cardboard. So, like I said, cut about 30 feet of cardboard. I cut through the sisal rope, 45-ish times. So to me, it did that. It went through the zip ties, and it was still cutting the paper relatively clean. There were a couple hang-ups. It did tear a couple times, but it still has a working edge that, with a little bit of pressure, will shave. So, in my mind, this thing works as advertised. As far as, well, no, let me say that. I don't think it works as advertised. I think 3V should perform a little bit better than it does here. That being said, it's not like the performance. This is not like a sharpened butter knife. You know what I mean? This is going to blow a lot of steels out of the water. It's still very good as far as edge retention, and being at the hardness that it's at, it's nearly unbreakable. I mean, the toughness of 3V at a 56 or a 57 Rockwell is out of sight. It's nearly indestructible. You might get some rolling. It's never going to chip on you. It's never going to snap on you. When I say never, I'm sure if you tried and you put the tip on an anvil and smashed it with a hammer, you're going to break the thing, okay? But my point is that 3V at this hardness will be nearly indestructible. And for an EDC steel, I think that's pretty good. I think Benchmade should have hardened it a little more, brought it up to about 60 to really get the most out of the steel, but whatever, I think they missed the mark on that one a little bit. But as far as the design and the coating and the little lanyard hole, all that stuff, I really like about it. It's very similar to the bug out, but has a little bit of a sweep up near the blade for more of almost like a thumb ramp. really like it. Really like this blade. The only thing I didn't like about it was the tanto, but again, I do modifications. I do a lot of sharpening, so I knew how to fix that. So, and I'll say one word about the tanto. For me, tanto blade is number one, they're a pain to sharpen. You almost got to sharpen it like it's two different blades. Number two, it cuts down on the usefulness of having the belly. I like being able to sweep and kind of rotate the blade as I cut through things. And with a tanto, it's just, I don't know, it's like on or off. You know, I don't know. There's like, for me, it's just less useful for everyday tasks. It makes the front edge too steep to really go through things the way I want to do it. And the belly is the part of the blade I cut with the most. And so to not have one just drives me insane. And that's why I held off on getting the bug out or the bailout as long as I did. But anyway, I think they missed the mark on the hardening. That being said, still has really good edge retention, and I was pretty happy with this performance, doing everything that it did and still able to cut paper relatively cleanly, and magazine paper, thin paper, and still shave a little bit of pressure. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope that this maybe enlightened you a little bit. I don't think it's where 3V can be, but it's certainly not bad by any means, and it's going to be ridiculously tough. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. God bless you guys as always, and I will catch you next time. Next Knife Thursday that I do is going to be on this, another blade that I picked up, Benchmade Presidio 2. So keep your eyes peeled for that. This is an awesome knife. Really love this knife. So anyway, catch you guys later. So now that the video's over, just want to say a word. You know, we talked about sharpness today and edge retention and stuff like that. And as much as that stuff applies to steel, I think it also applies to our spirit. And there's actually a decent amount of verses in the Bible talking about staying sharp and how iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens his, Anyway, I'm not going to get into quoting all the different scriptures, but the Bible is clear that we need to stay sharp, whether that be through prayer or reading or fellowship with other Christians, people that are going to lift us up. You need to stay sharp. So I just want to encourage you guys, stay in the Word, stay in prayer, stay connected with your church, stay connected with your men's group or your ladies group or whatever group you're in. Stay connected with them. Surround yourself with people that are going to keep you sharp, not people that are going to dull you. And that's about it. God gave us the church for a reason, because he knew that we couldn't do this on our own. He knew that we needed each other. He created us to be in community. So anyway, guys, just want to encourage you to stay sharp, stay in the Word, and stay with your church. And God bless you guys, and I will talk to you later.